In this video, I'm going to talk about my first year in DAWless. Let's go. About a year ago, just after Christmas 2023, I bought myself OP1 Field, which is a very expensive first foray into this, but at the time I was really a guitarist and a songwriter, and it was just a toy/tool to have on the side to not have to turn Logic on or a computer on to be able to make some music. Unfortunately, I then went down a bit of a hole. My wife, for my 40th birthday last year, bought me the Poly D, which was a great thing to make noise with. And then I bought the Reface CP because I loved that 70s electric piano sound. And then I waited until Australia had them back in stock again, and I bought myself the Mellotron Micro, the small one. And I did those three things really because they're the sounds that when I was composing on a computer that I would use most. And so I was really just recreating my DAW rig in a DAWless rig, which I'm not sure was the correct mindset to be in, but it was the mindset I was in. I then got an OPZ, well I didn't then get, I got an OPZ from my parents for my 40th, which was great, and I had some Volcas and things from previous projects that I was playing with, but I was really struggling to see a purpose in DAWless. I did put an album out earlier last year, I think, which was really just improvised jams, which I guess is all this really is, but I was really underutilising my equipment. I was really just using the OP1 Field or the OPZ as a drum machine, potentially maybe a bit of a drone or a chord progression or something happening in a loop on the OP1, and then was just jamming over the top with one of the other synthesizers. So yeah, it seemed a bit of a dead end to me, and I have to say I sort of stopped using it all for a bit, which was bad because it's quite a lot of money to spend. And then for some reason, sort of in the back quarter of last year, I decided to just spend a bit more time doing it and thinking, well, what is it that I'm actually wanting to achieve with this? And I realised that I wanted to be able to, if not play live in a venue, but at least be able to make a live video or something, which meant that I would need to be able to recreate this stuff and in some way be able to perform it and it not just be a loop in an OP1 Field with me jamming out a keyboard solo over the top, because that's not very interesting. And so V2, I guess, of my journey, the second leg, began at that point. And I think this leg is actually more of what everyone else probably thinks DAWless is, which is having a sequencer brain, which is very ironic because I made a video maybe 3 months ago where I talked about my rig not having a sequencer brain and everyone else doing that, and I've realised that actually this is how you do it. And it's been an interesting process mentally going through creating my, what I'm calling the B rig or the live rig, which is centered around the OPZ, and then rejigging the main synth table rig, which has got the OP1 Field as the brain. But I wasn't really sure how the two were going to interact, so I was beginning to just think, oh, maybe the synth table, the main table, would just be something that I would come and play on, and it would just be an enjoyment table, but I wouldn't really be able to use it for anything for my, like an album or a live thing or something. And then Christmas this year, I got the Pocket Operator PO33, the original Knockout, not the new one that everyone's lost their mind about, which, to be honest, I would quite like. But that really introduced me to the idea of sampling. Now, I had sampled before on an iPad or in Logic or whatever, but I'd never really sampled in the way that I would say is like a hip-hop sampling, where you're taking instruments and slicing them up and remaking them, like I guess like cut and paste or that kind of workflow where you're making something new out of other stuff. And I've been doing some little videos at the beginning of the year of me cutting up politicians' voices and making little beatboxes out of them and putting them out as YouTube shorts. Say to me. Which have had some traction, but it's been a real introduction for me into sampling. And then what that then gave me was this idea that I could use the main synth table as a way to generate samples for my performance rig. Because with the OP1 Field in the middle, that's effectively a little tape recorder and you can slice stuff up. And currently it feeds out to whatever camera I'm recording the set with or whatever, but I could actually just plug that into the Pocket Operator and make my own samples and not that I'm ever going to go crate digging or going to sample libraries. There's enough stuff over there to be able to make my own samples and then use that as a source to be able to cut up for the performance rig. Because the OPZ is not great at sampling. You know, it can do it, but it's not Great. That has left me at the beginning of 2024, where maybe a couple of months, 2-3 months ago, I was feeling a bit dejected about my sort of journey because I wasn't really sure where it was going to lead. And now I'm feeling pretty positive for 2024 that I not only have a method to actually go and perform this stuff, but I also have a way to link the beginning section of my journey when you don't really know what you're doing, you're just taking steps forwards. And, you know, I'm not going to lie, like I'm a moderately well-off 40-year-old guy, so I do have a bit of spare money to spend and I can indulge in some frivolous purchases, and maybe if I was not quite so lucky I would not have so much equipment. The ability to be able to tie some of those purchases that I had that kind of gas guilt about to actually play into my live rig felt quite good. And so that is what I'm going to do. The OPZ is going to be my performance rig, and it's going to be kept to sort of what I can achieve with a small 3-channel mixer and the line module in the OPZ, and then the synth table with the OP1 will be used inspiration point and a sort of jamming out and stuff to be able to capture stuff to be able to then use as textures in the live rig. I have also set myself the challenge this year to not purchase any more equipment. I could potentially see this being problematic. I have 3 things that I want right now. I want the Korg NT1. The Pocket Operator 33 has made me really see what could be achieved with sampling. I don't necessarily want the 133 because I'm not sure if that is the right tool, but the SP404, I think it is, would be a thing I'd really like. And then the new, I've completely forgotten the name of the effect pedal, but the new console from Chroma, I think it is, effects, that looks very interesting to me because I don't have any outboard effects really at the moment. But I'm going to be strong. I have enough equipment here to sink a small battleship. So I'm going to try and make it through to 2024. Now I have a birthday soon, so I might get something for that. But myself, other than consumables like cables or batteries or things like that, I'm not going to buy any gear. And this year I'm going to focus with my DAWless rig on putting out some EPs or an album and doing some live performance. So that's that. That was my rehash of my first year in DAWless. Let me know in the comments if you have got anything to add to this. I'm sure I'm not alone in my progression through this world, and I'm sure some people look at me and go, what a so-and-so who's got more money than sense, which is probably true. Thanks for watching. 2024 is going to be a good year. Like and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.